Good morning, queer history class.
Rise and shine.
To begin, what does it mean to queer something? Well, according to Charlie Glickman, a sexuality educator, to queer something, whether it's a text, a story, or an identity, is to take a look at its foundations and question them. We can explore its limits, its biases, and its boundaries. We can look for places where there's elasticity or discover ways we can transform it into something new. To queer something is to examine our assumptions and decide which of them we want to keep, change, discard, or even play with. This becomes a practice in transcending the habit of settling for predefined categories and creating new ones. And even when we leave something unchanged, we have changed our relationship to it. Which brings me to my object. My object that I decided to queer today is actually a person. And she's not only an idol of mine, but an inspiration, an icon, and probably the best one liner that has ever lived. So before getting into the assignment, I figured we could just play a game and see if anyone can guess who this person is. So, she was born in 1922 and died in 2009. She joined the U.S. Marine Corps in 1943, one of the first female recruits. She played a character with a GBF before it was cool and even before it was cliche. She starred in a show that the Queen Mother loved so much she requested a live performance, which was granted. They performed part of the show during the 1988's World Variety performance. So, not only a Marine, she did theater, television, film, activism, she did it all, okay? The one and only Beatrice Arthur. I know the point of this assignment isn't to describe the life of a legend, but rather analyze the queer version of B, which isn't that hard. I mean, she was a straight woman, but didn't need anyone's validation of her sexuality. Nor did she care. Now, instead of jumping into the characters that she's played and querying them, I figured we could start from the beginning. Not too long after graduating from an all-girls high school, she enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps. From a typist to a truck driver, V's time in the service was anything but normal for a woman in the 1940s. As a matter of fact, it was just 5 days after the Marine Corps began recruiting women that then Bernice Frankel, yes, that was her name, enlisted. And I would say that this is the beginning of B publicly just putting herself outside of this societal box. And here are some photos of her in the military and her records. Now we can get into B's mini characters, and after I finish, I'll explain why these roles they play a part in queering B. Arthur herself. Before the iconic queer-obsessed Golden Girls, Maude really started it all. Not yet the TV show, but Maude Finley, a guest role played by Arthur, who was an outspoken liberal feminist. Oh, and the show was All in the Family. Arthur was so impressive that she was given her own series, Maude. Released in 1971, the show took on topics such as the Vietnam War, Nixon, menopause, drugs, divorce, abortion, women's liberation, and even gay rights. Some broadcasters even refused to air certain episodes, although they all eventually made screen. But to get into what seems to be one of the most iconic roles of B, Dorothy Zbornak. In 1985, B took on this role in the show Golden Girls. And I don't think it's fair for me to get too much into the show because it was already queered by another student, but it is worth mentioning. So, this is the show the Queen's mother requested a private performance of. Isn't that crazy? Dorothy, her mom, and two best friends lived together, creating their own definition of a family. Now, us queers would call this a chosen family, and as older women, they not only take on similar subjects as Maude, but they have this emphasis on sex. I mean, how queer is that? Old women living together as friends, but having more sex than me in my prime. I'm not sure if I'm in awe or just disappointed in myself. Like I said, there's so much more to the show, but go watch Nikki's video. And you're probably wondering, what do any of these characters have to do with B. Arthur herself? I mean, look at it. She was in her 50s during Maude and cast at 63 for Golden Girls. The shows themselves are anything but normal, and neither was the casting. So something that Dr. Pagoda has had us do in the past is pull out like one sentence from a source and explain its importance. So watch this.
You approve of homosexuals? Arthur, it doesn't matter whether I approve or I disapprove. They are human beings. They exist. It's like asking me if I approve of dwarfs.
Well, that's different. There's no such thing as gay dwarfs.
Come on, Arthur, you've read Snow White. 7 little men living together like that wake up and smell the coffee.
Arthur, it doesn't matter whether I approve or disapprove. They are human beings. They exist. This was said by B. Asmod, spoken about gay people in 1977. That's almost 45 years ago, way ahead of its time. And I think the importance is in the line itself, that there's no need to approve of a gay person because there's nothing to approve. We exist. Rather than ending this with all the awards she's been nominated for and won, I think the queerest way would be to mention her dying will. She left $100,000 to the American Indian College Fund and $300,000 to the Ally Forney Center. It's a New York City organization that provides housing for homeless LGBTQ+ youth. Her charities range from animals to queer teenagers to really just anyone who has a battle in front of them. And with the help of her legacy, the B. Arthur Fund helps support the operational cost of the B. Arthur residence, an 18-bed long-term housing facility for homeless LGBT youth. And can I also mention that she took a jab at Donald Trump before I was even born?
Mr. Griffin, please. You are the most beloved man in America. You are bright. You are charming. You are the anti-Trump.
B. Arthur embodies queerness as well as patriotism. A duo that can be seen as contradicting or even impossible, but something I aspire to embody.